Hello again, welcome to episode 3 of my series on DIY budget putting green. If you remember the last 2 episodes, we had a bit of a look around at the problems I've been having. I've reseeded with some bunting seed and that got washed away instantly by a massive hailstorm in my area. But I've got a feeling since then, I've reseeded again in episode 2, I think good things are happening. It feels like the green, particularly where the sun hits it, is starting to fill in just a tiny bit. It's going to be quite slow. It still only gets into probably the early 20s in my area at the moment. So I'm in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. But today we're going to be doing a bit of a top dress. I've managed to track down some bentgrass seed again, which is going to suit this time of year a little bit more than some of the warm seeds and stuff. So half of this is a cooch, which it's tip tough, which is going to really enjoy the hot weather. It's probably not going to run too hard this time of year, but I've got some bent grass. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to top dress with some sand, which I'll show you, and I'm going to show you why. It looks quite flat here, and I've done a reasonably good job of getting it into but it has an overall natural roll to it. But where the grass isn't growing, so if you can just kind of see there's bare patches, obviously it doesn't hold, the water is able to wash away, there's no roots there. So you actually get this really risen area where the green stuff is, and then you get this kind of like depression. So we're going to be focusing on those today, doing a big top dress. I actually got some fertilizer video midweek done, but I think I might do a time lapse of that instead. So I'm going to do a bit of a top dress now, and then we're going to prep for some bentgrass seeds in the next episode. So welcome to my home resto. So just before I get into the top dressing, you can see you'll have obviously the places where the grass is filling in, and when you go to these areas here, excuse the shadow, it actually gets quite a lot lower, and also gets a lot harder. So you get this kind of hard packed, it is sand, but there's soil through it, and I don't think it's going to do very well, if you can see how hard that is there. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in these areas today, all of these dead patches. This area here in the shade is actually quite flat, and there is some growth happening, which I'll show you. And you probably can't tell, but there is some green starting to happen in that area. So we're just going to probably really lightly do that, but I really need to get some sand into these patches here. They're sitting really low. Okay, so I've just finished the top dress there. I'm actually going to wait to spread it out. I'll quickly grab the sand that I've used to top dress, and I'll show you why. When it comes in these bags, I've just got the Rich Grow Let's Play sand from Bunnings. It's good for the job. It's washed, so there's no weed seeds in it, and it doesn't sort of pack down like a packing sand will. So there's 2 things I need to talk about. Number 1, why I haven't spread it, and number 2, why I did half the top dressing by throwing it and half the top dressing by dropping it. The places where I've dropped it are the places where there's no grass coming through, and I really need to lift the level. So I started there and dropped them into the really low spots. Then I threw it along the parts which are sort of like on their way. It'll take months and months to get this into a good rolling surface, even if I get grass on it, but that's why I did the 2 methods. And the other reason is, like I just showed you that sand, it comes quite wet. A mistake I've made before, which is something I'd like to pass on, is if you're going to top dress, especially when you've got like kind of fresh lawn or lawn that might not have a very deep root system, if I push that around now with all the water through it, it's just going to clump and pull out grass. So I'm going to leave that for a few hours. It could even take the whole day, or I might even have to wait overnight, but I need the sand to dry out. Once it dries out, it just falls through the canopy so much better, and you get a much better level. So don't rush your top dressing. If you're getting wet sand, you can throw it. You can leave it in the wheelbarrow to dry, or you can throw it like that. And we'll check back in once it's dry. I'll give you guys a look, and we'll push it around and see what we come up with. Then we might do a bit of a comparison, because I've got a feeling we might have a bit more coverage. Alright, so as you can probably guess from this episode, what's really important in a putting green, even if it is on a budget, is to have a level surface. Not level as in like a laser level, that's more like a bowling green, where you need the surface to be flat so you can judge the roll of the ball. The putting green can certainly have a bit of undulation, but it's important that it happens over like a longer, I guess, square meterage. There's some points on mine where they're just a little bit high in about a 30 centimeter swat, which just isn't going to work. It just creates a bump in the roll rather than actually a nice gradient. So you probably can't see, but just up here is a place which continues to scalp, and right over the back as well, where I relayed some Bermuda, there's like just a high spot. I'll try to get it quite flat, but often when you get the sod, if you're laying tipped up or any kind of grass, some of the dirt that comes with it will be a little bit higher than others, or the roots are thicker, or whatever will happen. So what I'm going to actually do, I've got this, which is a core aerator from Bunnings. Do you need this? Maybe not. You could probably hire one or borrow one. I know you can hire petrol powered ones, but for what I've got, I can probably do it cheap. I did buy this. To be honest, it's not free to do what I'm doing. You need a couple of tools. This is probably one of them. Obviously your mower, and when you mow into 10 mil or less, that means each time you roll the mower, basically as the mower rolls, there can't be more than that much undulation over the course of, 30 or 40 centimeters. So you have to get it pretty darn good. I'm just going to do a little time lapse now. I'm going to quickly hit the spots which I keep scalping. That'll pull out a plug, and then I'm actually going to put my foot into it and hopefully drop the level of it a tiny bit. Then when I top dress, it'll fill in what's left of the hole. So just going to have a go. I don't know if that'll work, but just going to have a dig. All right, here's a tip. See this here, you're going to go to Bunnings for your core aerator. The one I bought is probably the cheapest one, which is about standard for me. So basically it's got they're hollow tines, and the idea is that it pushes the dirt that you pull out of the top. Never happens. So if I was going to recommend one, maybe this is a good time to give you a Tom's tip. Get the one which has a longer tine, and there's like a section cut out of the tine in the middle. From what I've seen, they work a lot better. There's no real point. I mean, there is a point putting holes in your lawn. It can help get water down a bit lower in the root zone or nutrients. But the idea with this is you pull material out to replace with something like a sand, so you have like a long-term effect. This isn't really going to do it. I'm trying, but if you're not actually removing any material, you're not really going to lower the surface either. So there you go, the Cyclone one. Sorry guys, probably not the pick. Okay, so there you have it. Oh wait, no, I haven't done this yet, so I can't really say I did. All right, so there you have it. Next step is we're going to wait. We might do this in a separate episode. We're going to reseed with bentgrass. In the next episode, I might actually show you the way that's dried out, and then we're going to put some bentgrass down. I'm actually going to try a trick with peat moss as well. So watch this space. We've got some good weather coming up. I'm able to control the moisture a bit in the top, which is, I think, what's really helped get a bit of green happening and a little bit of movement sideways. Thanks for watching. My name's Tom. This is my home resto.